Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some shorter term technical analysis on Bitcoin to kick things off, because as you can see on our charts here, overnight Bitcoin did fall below $8,000 and has set a lower low down here around $7,815. And in today's video, I want to start off, like I said, by doing some technical analysis on this move and trying to discern what this means for Bitcoin, whether or not this falling wedge that we've been looking at here is actually going to break to the upside, like a lot of people are saying it's going to, or if we're going to continue pulling all the way back down to $7,750. But from there, guys, I want to zoom out and do some longer term technical analysis, because there is a pattern that I've been meaning to bring to your attention for the last couple of weeks, and I decided today is a good day to do it. Unfortunately, it is a bearish pattern, but guys, as you know, it's not always sunshine and rainbows in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and you need to be aware of the patterns, whether they be bullish or bearish. So I'm going to show this to you in today's video. I think it's a very important part of our analysis that literally no one on YouTube is talking about, to my knowledge. So guys, I think it's going to be a good one. I hope you do enjoy it. If you do, make sure you hit that like button. Really helps out the channel and get the video ranked in the YouTube algorithm. Also, leave us a comment with what you think about the video or what you think about the topics discussed in today's video down below. Also, before we dive into it, I do want to remind you about the sale on CT2A that is running through the month of October. For $40 off, you'll be getting access to the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Over 10 hours of premium content teaching you how to work in these markets, how to trade in these markets, how to read these markets, how to analyze these markets, and of course, most importantly, how to profit in these markets, guys. More on that at the end of the video. But guys, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. As I said, guys, Bitcoin has had a small move overnight. It was trying to retain support on the 20-hourly exponential moving average. That's a mouthful, but that's a very important moving average that Bitcoin was trying to hold above. It unfortunately did not manage to do that, and we broke bearish around 1 a.m. Eastern time last night, pulling all the way back down to the exact support level that we would expect Bitcoin to pull back to, this one right here. We already had this drawn on the chart, as you saw in the intro. We just kind of extended that down, and it showed us where we got support exactly. Anyone who tells me technical analysis doesn't work, they don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, guys, from here, I think it's relatively obvious what's going to happen. I think Bitcoin is going to finish out this ascending wedge pattern. It's going to pull all the way back down to 77.50, and from there we might see a bounce. But I want to be very clear with this, guys. Whether or not Bitcoin bounces from 77.50 and continues higher, or if it falls lower, is very much up for debate. It's not necessarily just a bullish case. It's not necessarily true that Bitcoin's just, as a matter of fact, going to bounce bullish here. Guys, we've tested this level of support 3 times. Once, twice, thrice, force. Guys, we don't need to come down here a 4th time. We do not need to be testing this level of support over 3 times. If you guys are in CT2A, then you will know of the video, gauging the strength of support and resistance. In this video, we teach a very important concept in technical analysis, and that is the more times a level of support or resistance is tested, the weaker it gets after 3 tests. Up to 3 tests, it's strengthening the level of support or resistance. After 3 tests, starting with the magic number of 4, that level of support or resistance starts getting weaker. So if we come down here and test this again, there's a higher likelihood that we're going to break it in eventuality and start heading down to some price targets that we'll be discussing later on in the video. Anyway, guys, you know a lot of the oscillators aren't very useful on the hourly chart, so if we zoom out to the 4-hourly chart, we can see here that the MACD has been relatively bearish on the 4-hourly for the last several days. About the last week or so, it has, in fact. We did see a very brief bullish cross, but we're now bearish again. Also, looking at our 4-hourly 20 EMA, we can see Bitcoin rejected off of it here just yesterday. Now, I want to make something very clear, guys. Right now, Bitcoin technically does have a higher high compared to this one and a higher low compared to this one, but don't let that fool you. That does not mean that Bitcoin is bullish. Take a look at the longer term. Take a look at this downtrend. Take a look at what we're about to talk about, one of the things that's in the title of this video. Take a look at the daily chart MACD. Take a look at the RSI and the Stochastic RSI that's starting to fall down. Take a look at the fundamentals. Take a look at the interest in the space. Take a look at all of these different factors that go into the market, not just higher lows and higher highs or some fractal or some pattern that Bitcoin followed several months ago. Be careful about getting caught up on 1 or 2 technicals. You have to make sure you're taking everything into account, because remember, guys, technical analysis, this is something else we talk about in CT2A. Technical analysis is largely a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, that doesn't mean it's not true. That doesn't mean it's not relevant, but the reason that technical analysis is powerful is because people are making trades based off of that technical analysis. If nobody gave 2 craps about the level $6,000, then it would be a completely useless level, because there'd be no selling or buying pressure around it. The same thing is true for the rest of technical analysis, so don't get fooled by seeing 1 small pattern and thinking that that is going to save you and that that is going to give you all the information you need, because there are a plethora of other people that are trading based off of other patterns, and you need to make sure you're looking at all of them so you get a wide angle understanding of what people are doing in the market. You need to make sure you understand what as many of the traders are doing as possible. That's why you look at multiple different time frames. That's why you look at multiple different indicators. That's why you look at multiple different patterns. That's why you look at multiple different news sites. That's why you look at multiple different YouTube channels. Don't just follow me on YouTube. Go follow other people that I've recommended, like Carl from the Moon. Great guy. Alessio Rastani, I don't always agree with him. Great guy. Yeah, I'm giving shout outs. Go follow other people too. Just want to put that as an interlude before we move into the next point, which is this. Guys, we have been staring at a pattern on this screen for the last 2 or 3 weeks that nobody has talked about, including myself, and that is a mistake on all of our parts because, guys, if we take away these indicators for just a second and we get rid of our moving averages here, what are we looking at? Just let it sink in. Look, there's a pattern looking at us right now. Now, it's not necessarily the best example of this pattern, but guys, this is a head and shoulders pattern. There's a shoulder right there, a head right here. It looks like we're going into a shoulder. How have none of us talked about this? I personally haven't seen any of the other YouTubers talk about it. I know that I haven't talked about it because I've been saving it for the right time, which is this video. But guys, this is a very important pattern. You understand that. Bitcoin had a shoulder over here and continued higher and then set the head up here and has been trending downwards ever since. And then it would make sense that Bitcoin was going to trend down anyway, but the fact that we're in a head and shoulders pattern, that makes even more sense that we're heading down. How have we not noticed this, guys? Now, I will be the first to admit, this is not necessarily the prettiest looking head and shoulders pattern. I mean, look at this. This is kind of a ugly head and shoulders pattern. It looks like some monster that has 3 heads or something, but the point is that it is technically a head and shoulders pattern, and I want to talk about how it might play out. Because, guys, if you know anything about head and shoulders patterns and their inverse head and shoulders patterns, typically they do play out, and typically they are important indicators of what's going to happen on the market. So if we were to start analyzing this, the first thing we have to do is figure out where our neckline is. Well, for right now anyway, unless something updates, our neckline is right there. This head and shoulders pattern is leaning ever so slightly, maybe about 2 or 3 degrees to the left. The next thing we would do is we would measure the head and neck height by doing this number right here, all the way from the very top, all the way from the very bottom. The next thing we would do, guys, is we would use that height to get a price target. And we're going to go on the log scale real quick and zoom back in. And that gives us a price target of around $1,500. That is not something I'm going to follow, but I did want to show you guys that for those of you who are not as familiar with head and shoulders patterns. I don't think Bitcoin's going down to $1,500. The point is we are looking at a head and shoulders pattern, and normally, guys, they will inevitably break their neckline. And notice, this is a level of support that we've been looking at for quite some time. Look at this price target over here. Look at this number over here when I hover over this. $7,750, guys. It's the same level we were looking at. So assuming that we're probably going to break bearish out of this, because normally Bitcoin will not break bullish following a head and shoulders pattern, what kind of levels of support are we looking at, and where might Bitcoin get caught? Well, guys, to do that, there's a couple different indicators we're going to bring out. I'm going to be brief on this because I've talked about this previously, but I do want to mention it again. The first thing I want to do here is look at the VPVR, and notice there is a big gap over here. There's just not a lot of VPVR support over here because there's not a lot of support over here that was built up while we were moving. Below that, guys, the next major VPVR support is at $5,200, and below that, guys, it's at 38. Now, I got a 38 sitting in the kitchen, but that doesn't mean I want Bitcoin to go that low, if you know what I mean. But anyway, guys, as far as the VPVR is concerned, $5,200 and $3,800 are the 2 levels of support we're looking at there. Of course, there are others, so let's bring up our moving averages. The ones that we typically look at aren't going to be very useful, so we need to come out to the weekly chart, and I'll show you the 200 weekly moving average. This is another moving average that's going to provide very important support. It's sitting around $4,700 right now. If Bitcoin does continue falling down here, it could fall down to $4,700. Going back onto the other charts, then we will also find that there's a level of support sitting around $7,200 if we zoom out here. And that level of support would show up right here. Let's go ahead and grab our horizontal line, and it shows up right there. The reason that this is here is because it's the bottom of this pattern over here, and it is also a Fibonacci level. As you can see, it is actually the 61.8% retracement Fibonacci level from the high. And then, of course, one last support level / zone would be $6,000 to $6,400 that we've shown down here. So, in order, we have $7,750, $7,200, $6,400, $6,000, $4,700 with the 200 weekly exponential moving average, and then a VPVR level all the way down in the mid $3,500 range. Where is Bitcoin going? Well, guys, that's a perfect question for technical analysis because that's what technical analysis is supposed to be able to answer. Quite frankly, guys, it can be any of these, but I will say this. The 61.8% Fibonacci level is a very powerful level. I don't personally believe that we're going to be able to hold 7750. We've been trading sideways down here with nothing going on for the last 3 weeks. And if I learned anything from 2018, it's that when Bitcoin trades sideways above a level of support that everybody, including myself, thought was going to hold, it's going to break. I don't believe that 7750 is going to hold. I think that Bitcoin is going to fall through it. I think that we need to have some more bearish movement to trigger the bulls into rallying once again. And to do that, I think the level of support that we're most likely going to bounce at is not one of these way down here. I don't think we're going below $6,000. At least I don't think that yet. That might change. But for now, I think where we might be going is $7,200. If you guys know anything about Fibonacci, then you will know that the 61.8% Fibonacci Fibonacci level is the most important Fibonacci level. It is the inverse of phi, 1.618. That's called the golden number in mathematics because it's a very important number. It's derived from the Fibonacci sequence. If you remember back to your, like, I don't know, what classes were they? The early math classes in college, I think they were. That number is everywhere. It's a very, very important number, and in technical analysis, it is too. 61.8% is one of the most common levels for Bitcoin to retrace to or rally to, and that's why I'm personally believing that Bitcoin, after following through on this head and shoulders pattern, because of the bearish cross that we've already had with the 20 and the 200 that we talked about in yesterday's video, that shows up right here, and also because of the 50 and the 200 cross that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks, which shows up right about here in about a week and a half or so. I personally believe that we're going to start anyway at $7,200. It's possible we pulled all the way back down to $6,000, guys. And look, the reason I tell you this is not to spread FUD. The reason I tell you this is not to get you guys worked up. It's not to scare you guys. It's to make sure you're aware of what's probably going to happen and what is possibly going to happen. Okay, those are two different things, but it's important that you understand both of them because Bitcoin could possibly fall down to $3,000, but it's probably going to fall down to $7,200. No matter what happens, you need to be aware of what the market is going to do before it does it so that you can prepare yourselves, guys. Anything is an opportunity if you treat it as such. So if you have a good idea as to what the market is going to do, you can place your bets in the right direction, have your stop losses in the correct position, and be ready to take profits when it happens. You guys know me well enough to know that I will be shorting the second we go down below $7,700, and we've confirmed a breakout of that. I'll be shorting on Kraken, and I might even live stream it, guys. If that happens, it's going to be interesting. This is one of those periods, guys, if you're in CT2A, you know the video Gut Feeling. In that video, I'm talking about how sometimes you just have an intuition. Sometimes you just have an instinct. That's one of the most primal, primitive feelings that you have, and it's something that people write off in technical analysis as emotional trading, and that's not true. It's instinctive trading. When you've been in the market as long as I have, working in these markets literally every single day for over 2 years now, you get a feeling sometimes of what the market's going to do, and if you are trained, then you need to listen to that feeling, and I am trained. If you're newer to the market, that feeling oftentimes is going to be wrong, but I'm probably not wrong on this. We'll see what happens. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think. I would love to hear your take on this. Do you agree with my intuition that we are going lower? Do you agree with my technical analysis that we are looking for lower price targets? Are you looking to short this market? Are you looking to long this market? Do you think this is all just one big inverse Bart Simpson pattern? Do you think some big Bitcoin news story is going to come out and save the day? I want to hear your take on that in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, to wrap the video out, I do want to remind you of the sale running on CT2A. Like I said, guys, the great thing about the course here is that it allows for you guys to learn everything you need to know about this space for a very, very low and competitive price, while also helping me to make sure that we're able to continue bringing these videos to you daily. It takes a lot of work to run a YouTube channel. A lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. And because we live in a capitalistic world, thank God, I love capitalism, that is the way it works. It requires money to operate. So guys, this is an amazing exchange that we've set up between CT2A and you and me, and it really makes sure that everything continues running smooth. So if you guys want to learn about technical analysis, this is the place to start. This is not a $2,000 or $3,000 course like some people are selling in cryptocurrency. For $159, guys, you're gonna get access to everything you need to know in technical analysis. I mean, it's all here pretty much. There are a few videos I want to add in the future. Like I still want to add a video on VPVR. That'll be coming relatively soon. But guys, if you're looking for a place to start in cryptocurrency, you're looking for a way to hone your skills, even if you're an advanced technical analyst, we have a lot of people in CT2A that have been in the market for 2, 3, 4, 5 years and are still learning new stuff all the time. I was just talking to one of them, Lee, on the Discord server this morning in the DMs. Hi, Lee. I know that if you join us, guys, you're going to get a lot of value out of it, and considering there's a 14-day refund policy, what do you really have to lose? Join the Discord server down below and talk to some of our students, see what they have to say. I encourage you guys to do that and do your research before you make any purchases, as always. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I do hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Like I said, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure to smash that like button. Really helps out the YouTube channel and helps the videos get ranked in the YouTube algorithm. Also, make sure to drop us a comment. I want to hear your take on all this. Hit that subscribe button, smash the post notification bell, and as always, guys, I want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.